The storm is still unfolding. Economists estimate it could cost up to $22 billion in damage, and that would make Florence one of the 10 most costly hurricanes in U.S. history. For a closer look at its financial impact, I'm joined now live by Nicholas Economides in New York. Nicholas is a professor of economics at the Stern School of Business at New York University. Nicholas, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about your current assessment as to the damage estimates that we've seen so far and the economic impact from this storm.
Well, it's the beginning of estimating the damage. This storm has a tendency to linger for a long time and drop a lot of rainfall. So there will be, I'm afraid, a multiple of the estimate of damage that we have, the estimate that we have right now.
So let's talk about then U.S. infrastructure, economic impact of all these major roads underwater. I was thinking too about the nuclear power plant, which had to be shut down. Did we learn something from how this was handled so far?
Well, this far it has been handled pretty well. The real issue with infrastructure in the United States is that there are significant delays in fixing it. So we have relatively poor infrastructure in airports, in roads, in transit systems, in bridges, in dams, in all kinds of infrastructure in the United States. And that's a serious problem. President Trump has proposed a $1.5 trillion program, which hasn't yet been implemented. And given the lack of funds that the U.S. government has after the tax cuts, I'm not so sure how it's going to be implemented. I expect that eventually we will reach a private-public partnership in which some of the expenditure is going to be taken by the private sector, and it will be recovered through fees for whoever uses the infrastructure.
You know, you've been covering these issues for a long time now. What are your observations about the lessons from Superstorm Sandy, maybe where houses are located, how insurance should work, and whether we were able to benefit from those going into this storm?
Well, one of the problems is that the U.S. is not very strict about people rebuilding in an extremely dangerous zone. So essentially, people are able to rebuild, and if there is a new large storm, they're going to be devastated again. That's not rational. We need a policy to designate certain areas as not available for residential or commercial buildings or structures.
What about the lessons that we might be able to learn from emerging markets for the United States in terms of readiness, in terms of getting back up to speed? Are there lessons there that we can learn?
Well, the U.S. has a pretty good system of evacuations, of alarms, and so on. So I don't really worry about this so much. There are issues of compliance. There are some people who, no matter what you tell them, are going to stay and protect their property when there is a large storm, a very deadly storm. And we saw it in the previous large storm in Long Island, in which a number of people died because they did that. So it's just a matter of not adhering to the warnings. At least that's the problem in the United States, rather than the warnings not being there.
Mr. Economides, I apologize for pronouncing your name there. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.